Hi YouTube, this is Dawn Star. This is a update for Jackson James. He is 7 weeks old today. He's 49 days old as of today, so that's wonderful. First off, I want to thank Lucy and Joel for the donation of the breast pump. Because of that, I've been able to produce almost 6 ounces of milk a day, which isn't a whole lot, but it's better than what I was producing, which was about 2 ounces a day before I received it, so that's wonderful. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it a great deal. Also, let's just start about 3 weeks ago. We were sent to Salt Lake City, Utah, to Children's Primary Hospital because Jackson developed hydrocephalus because of the grade 3 and 4 brain bleeds. So we were sent up there to have surgery on his brain to put a reservoir in because he's too small for a shunt. When we got up there, they decided to do a PDA ligation because he had PDA, which is patent ductus areatosis, which is a duct in the heart that normally closes in a full-term baby, but since he was so early, it did not close. Initially, we hadn't planned on doing the surgery. We were hoping he was going to gain weight quicker and grow quicker, and it was going to be able to close on its own. But since we were sent up there anyway for one surgery, they decided just to go ahead and do the other surgery. So that one was done first. And then in the meantime, they were still doing ultrasounds of his head to see how the hydrocephalus was progressing. And it actually was not progressing. It was actually going backwards, which is pretty much unheard of. Once it gets to the stage where you need surgery, it doesn't happen very often that it starts to regress. So we were up there for a total of 17 days fighting to get back down to St. George and the NICU here because they weren't doing anything up there for him that they couldn't do down here since they decided they were not going to do the brain surgery, which, praise God, we didn't have to have. He didn't need because he continues to have good head ultrasounds. The last one was so good that they decided not to do another one for at least 2 weeks. And they were doing 2 to 3 times a week before that. So that was wonderful. We came back and he was still on the vent. They've tried to extubate him a few times and he didn't ever do well. So they put him back on the vent, but it was because of the PDA issues. So once we got back to St. George, they decided to try him on CPAP, which he did well. It took a while for him to get used to it. It was blowing a lot of air in his tummy, which was causing loops and having him trouble to feed. So they adjusted his feedings and he was on the CPAP for a few days and he was doing so well they decided to put him on the high flow nasal cannula, which is what he's on now. He doesn't get much assistance for oxygen because he doesn't need it. He's on 21% oxygen, which is what we breathe. So sometimes when he's stressed out, he needs like 23%, maybe 25% if he's really upset, percent oxygen, but that's not very often. So he's doing good with that. He was transferred from what they call the giraffe isolate, which is for more immediate need, instant care babies, more sick babies as they basically put it, and he was put into a regular isolate because there's no reason to have immediate need to have to assist him in anything. So that's a big milestone that we got to, so that was wonderful. What else? He had his eye exam yesterday, and quote, the eye doctor said, quote, he has better than perfect eyes, which is wonderful because he has been on some oxygen and he doesn't have ROP, which is retinopathy of prematurity. He does not have that, so he doesn't have to have any surgeries on his eyes, which is wonderful. God keeps blessing us with wonderful news with him. He's doing well. He's had some other little hiccups with his conjugated bilirubin, which has to do with the liver. And they think it's just because he hasn't been able to eat a normal amount of food his entire life. but about 2 weeks ago he's eating normal. They have him now up to 26 mLs of milk, breast milk, every 3 hours, and they add 28 calories to that breast milk. So it's a total of about 48 calories per ounce of breast milk. 26 calories is a little shy of an ounce. It's about 28, or 30 is about an ounce. So he's a little under an ounce. So he drinks almost 8 ounces a day, which, as if you remember, I only produce about 6 ounces a day. But because he was NPO, we have a little bit of milk stored for him to be able to make up for what I'm not making right now. Hopefully that'll stay and I'll start to produce more and more milk. We'll see. If not, they do have the PHM, which is pasteurized human milk, which he had when he was very first born because I wasn't producing anything except for colostrum. Thank God that there's women out there who donate their breast milk, because I would prefer not to feed my son with formula because he is premature and he needs the antibodies and everything in the breast milk for his immune system. And it's proven that premature babies do better with breast milk than formula. So that's what we're shooting for. Hopefully he'll be home by his due date, which is May 2nd. If not, we're shooting for Mother's Day, which I don't know exactly what day that is, but a few weeks after that. What else? Sunday we had our first big boy bath that we gave him. It's called a swaddle bath. They swaddle him in a blanket, or we swaddle him in a blanket and put him in the bath water, and you pull out one limb at a time, keep him covered to keep him warm because he's still unable to regulate his own temperature. We do skin to skin or kangaroo care every day. Their dad has decided to do this for and possibly some because he's very, very he tries to pull out his feeding tube all the time, and he's always pulling off the nasal cannula prongs out of his nose, saying, I don't need this, get it off me. He has a weak suck, but it's starting to get stronger. He's actually almost 34 weeks gestation. It would be 34 weeks this Sunday, so he still has if he would have been born now, he still would have been born significantly premature. So, he's doing well considering. Say hi. She wants up. Stop it. So that's. Oh, I'm going to stop this and I'm going to do a part 2 because I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So I'll be right back.